Struggle with Candice Thompson. Guess who I am? Candice Thompson. Mal always makes fun of me because I say my name 7 times at the top of the show. But he's not here today. Guess who's happy about that? Most of our listeners. and okay, so really quickly, I'm gonna tell you what the show's about for our new listeners. The Struggle is a podcast about the struggle of adulthood. So every week we have on a new guest, whether it be a comedian or just a friend of mine. It could be an actor or just, a regular ass person. If they're struggling with something, you're welcome to come here and so we can laugh at it. So thank you for listening. You can find me on social media at Jokes by Candice on Twitter and Instagram, and my website, CandiceThompsonComedy.com. And I'm going to introduce my lovely co-host who is filling in for the corny Mal Hall. Please welcome Annie Lederman.
Hello. I'm Mal. I'm corny. Yeah, what's he doing? Where is he, at the Renaissance Fair?
No. I got invited to go to the Renaissance Fair by Justine Marino and Justin Martindale a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, obviously I didn't go because I'm black.
That should be your struggle. How dare you invite me to the fucking Renaissance Fair?
I almost wanted to go just to experience it, but whatever. I changed my mind on that one. So Annie, you were a guest on this not that long ago. And now you've been promoted.
Well, I no longer have struggles, so now I get to be the host.
Now we know that's a goddamn lie.
You worked through all my struggles.
I should get a certificate that I hang on the wall. Annie, where can everyone find you?
Everybody can find me on Instagram at Annie Lederman, ANNIELEDERMAN, or on Twitter that way, but Twitter's not as fun.
It's not.
Instagram's kind of my one.
It's taken over.
I hate it, but it's my struggle, but we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about that. All right, let's intro our guest for today. Oh, I'm so excited to have this guy. I've been trying to remember when I first scheduled you for this, and I was like, can you do September?
Yeah, and then you asked me in 2014. I was like, what? 4 years from now? You got a long calendar.
He was like, I've never been asked this far ahead to do a podcast. And I was like, I'm just so excited. I've been booking everybody.
Yeah, sometimes
I might be free. I might be dead.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, I could have even quit comedy. Honestly, like, who knows what would happen?
So much, but we're so happy you can make it by introducing the hilarious comedian Nick Youssef.
Yay.
Where can everyone find you?
Yay. Oh, where can everyone find me? You can find me on every social media platform under Nick Youssef, NickYoussef. I don't use Twitter anymore. I don't use Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
They're whack. Stopped using Snapchat probably a month after it started.
You started. Yeah.
Wait, why? Because you were just like, this is too much.
It's stupid.
For small children, too.
At the time, I was like, this is just like another one to add to the list of like, because at the time it was like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm like,
it did feel that one was a chore. Like, unless you were like a kid coming up then, I feel like that was like a chore for grown-ups.
So that one, I'm like, I don't need that shit. And then I stopped using Twitter, which was fantastic.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Did that one stress you out?
No, because I'd already kind of been tired of it for like a couple of years, and I'm like, why am I on here? Like everyone just
nobody
like
reads anymore,
argues and yells at each other, and everyone has like half-baked opinions on.
Oh, it's like literally like, you know how you should feel? You better do this, and if you think you're gonna say this, you better not. You're like, what
and
the
offensive.
fuck?
You're saying like,
you just
what?
Get attacked.
Like,
I want to take your job. You said something. You're like, oh my god.
In 2012, like everyone was just calling everyone like cunts and idiots and stuff, and everyone was like, hooray!
It hasn't
Twitter's
changed.
fun. It's comedy. And now everyone's just like, how dare you call someone this word, whatever the word is.
Yeah, it's like, yo, we could check your Twitter history too, motherfucker.
Yeah. There's like a thread
everyone's
of
got
complaints.
skeletons.
Oh, we're all fucked.
So I stopped using it that was my New Year's resolution.
I really like that.
For this year.
Because that one really, it's almost like, unless you have like a huge following on it, what is it worth at this point? What is it worth?
It's not. I mean, at one point I was focusing, that was the one I was most focusing on, because it was like, oh, jokes. I can write jokes, and then this will be a good way for comedians. And now, it's no jokes anymore.
You know who it's good for now? Twitter is now, in the same way it was like the best for comedians back in the day.
It's great for ISIS now.
It's great for journalists.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you call that comedy bloggers? Is that what you call ISIS now?
Yes.
Don't you hate people that don't do comedy, commenting on comedy? Like, get out of here.
Like, this is, but everyone wants to be funny. All right.
And wait, did you see that when people were coming at? I didn't see Amy Schumer's new movie, and I don't. Like,
not yet.
I don't have an opinion either way, but it's like.
Yeah, you do. You have an opinion on it.
No, I promote like comedy. Like, I think honestly it looks fine. I mean, I would want to see it, but it's like people are like all pissed at it and nobody saw it. They're writing these reviews.
That's what
and
it is.
They never saw it. It's like, oh my God.
That's what all of this whole era is. Is people seeing a snippet.
Is.
Yeah, it's people seeing one snippet and then pouncing on whatever without even being in full context. They have no idea.
And then not even caring.
And not caring. Exactly.
Which is okay.
And ranting about it. All right, let's get started. I'm going to.
Oh, also, I forgot to plug
damn it.
my podcast
the
that I
last
have on
time.
hiatus for the time being, but I'm going to bring it back in like the next week or two.
Wait, is
That's
this the one
greatest
that?
plug of all
The one that
time.
you did. No, you didn't do it.
You have a solo podcast. 'Cause
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
did the one with you and Kevin.
Oh yeah, that ended in December of whatever, like 2000.
Which Kevin did you
Kevin
have a falling out
Christie.
with?
Me
Oh
and-
wow, you guys had a falling out.
You guys didn't fall
No, we
out,
just
did
ended
you?
our podcast.
Yeah. Was it a mutual or was somebody
yeah.
thinking they're too big for the band anymore?
Somebody was like, I have to draw pictures. I can't
One
be
of,
here anymore.
one of them was like, I'm Justin Timberlake, and you are
Right.
clearly Joey Fatone.
We ended. No, we did it for like 3-ish years or
Yeah.
something like that, and then we were just like, everything runs its course. And
Of course.
Was yours about music though? Yours was a music podcast.
No, we
right?
talked about like music and just like arts and culture and all the things we like and,
Yeah.
and care about, and then had guests on sometimes. to
Yeah,
talk
I did it
about
a
those
couple
things, too.
times. That was
Yeah.
fun. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, it was a good podcast. But then the one I started after that is called Nick America, and I talk about growing up as the son of immigrants,
Right.
and being Middle Eastern. And then I'd bring on other people, and they talk about their ethnic sort of identity and how it was growing up wherever they grew up, and
Feeling like they didn't necessarily fit in.
yeah,
and
if
having to
they did or
assimilate.
didn't. Like
Yeah.
some of the cool surprises are the people that actually tell you like I was totally fine growing up, Asian or black or whatever neighborhood. 'Cause you always assume like, oh, you grew up in the South, it must have been like this, and
Right. You're like, no,
a lot
actually,
of people had like.
had a fantastic
Yeah, they had no problems, racially, but it could have just been like they were, nerds or this or that.
Right, whatever.
Yeah,
right.
everyone's got. You can't. You're not
yeah.
free. You never get free of anything.
No.
You never
Yeah,
get like
there's
a lucky break.
But it's sometimes not what you think it'll be,
Yeah.
and then and then the conversation kind of goes wherever
Right.
it's gonna go. But I did it so I could learn more about like myself, like through others.
Yeah. That's the whole
Um,
purpose, I think, of
yeah.
relationships in general, and why that's the one thing I hate about how nobody wants to connect with anybody and be in like serious, intimate relationships anymore. It's
Yeah.
like that's the only way you learn about yourself. So
Yeah.
these people
Sure,
that
yeah.
are just like jumping from person to person to
Right.
person to fulfill whatever like sexual need or whatever
Yeah.
lack of intimacy that they can provide for themselves is just like you're not learning anything.
I think it's
You
you're not
should
ready
do
to
that.
learn sometimes though. I think it's like sometimes you need to like
I think that-
fuck a bunch of frogs.
That's
And that's
part of
fine.
the process.
you have to
though.
blow a bunch of frogs.
That's part of the
before-
learning process. I think you got to spend some time doing that early on to learn what you do and don't.
Oh,
want.
You got to eat the ass of a couple frogs before you
Yeah.
really find that
Absolutely.
Of course.
man who likes Prince.
Absolutely.
I learned that in Bible school.
Yeah.
So, okay, so
Is
let's
this preacher's podcast? Because
Preacher Lawson?
yeah,
The comic?
wasn't he doing the religious one on your network? Who does your religious podcast?
No, he was on facial.
Oh, he just has his just name is preacher.
Yeah, I was like, and so that we're talking for our listeners are like, what the fuck are you guys talking
Yeah,
about?
sorry.
There's a comic named Preacher who
Yeah.
I don't think that's his real name, which I find very interesting.
It's
Like,
weird. Stage names are weird.
Stage names are very weird, but there are also dudes that are named Preacher. Like Jamar has a joke saying he got fucked by a preacher, and he's like, not like a church dude, like my dude who's just named Preacher. And it's just like
Preacher
hilarious.
Williams.
Yeah, Preacher
That's
Preacher
so
Jackson.
funny.
So, which is funny because my next guest that's coming is on a show called Preacher. Anyway, look how that came from full circle.
Wow.
Anyway, all right, let's get started with the struggle. So,
Wow.
my struggle that I've been dealing with this week, I don't know if you guys watched my Instagram story that I posted yesterday or the day before, not for our listeners, this will be like a week ago.
I watched it on mute,
So,
and I just
Annie.
masturbated.
that actually.
I watched her watching it on mute.
I
So
filmed that.
meta.
We just have this stream
meta.
of. You should honestly, you should be following us on Instagram. Is what
It
we're
was
saying.
like
It's a lot of
it
masturbation.
was like a Russian doll of jerking off.
Yours was the big one though. Yours like really exploded.
So what I was venting about was just recently. So I was on set on Friday, and I saw, and everyone knows who listens to this podcast, and Nick, we talk about this all the time. Annie, we talk about this. My dating struggles. Like I've been single for so long, so it's gotten to the point now where I'm literally just hitting on a lot of people, just seeing what'll happen
It's probably your looks, honestly.
in person. I don't.
You're not using the app.
I have been on the apps, but I'm not on really. I'm only on like one of them.
The
now.
apps are brutal. Do you do the apps? Are you in a relationship now?
I am, but I did them for a little while.
They're-
When they
did you
kind of
f-
all were starting.
Yeah.
Like Bumble, Tinder.
Bumble, Tinder,
Bumble's the
There
worst
was
because
another
Match,
one.
eHarmony.
No, not those. It was called like
Raya.
no. it
oh,
was
Raya is
before Raya.
bullshit.
Hinge, maybe. It was some weird.
Oh, I think I've heard of that one.
But then I did Bumble and Tinder and then I just
now there's Coffee Meets Bagel. That's a new one.
Oh, I heard of that
Bumble,
one. Yeah.
Bumble, I think is the worst because the girl has to make the mistake. You're like, I'm the only one to blame. Like you have to reach out to the guy. You're like, holy shit, I
have
can't
to
blame
take
anyone
full
but myself.
responsibility for this. So I was doing in person. I just will be like, hey, dude, what's up? So
That's
there
my
was
girl.
I mean, hey, I don't care anymore.
This doesn't sound like a struggle. This sounds great.
Well, okay, that's not the struggle part.
Okay.
So I went up to this dude who was just working as part of the crew on set, and I had one of my boys who's on set feel him out a little bit and see if he was in a relationship, and he came back well, he's not married. I was like, dude, I know that he's not wearing a ring.
Yeah.
I could have found that out on my own. So anyway,
Yeah.
he was like, well, I'm just gonna send him over to you, and then you can talk to him. And I was like, okay. So he sent him to me, and he was like, so and so said you wanted me to stop over, and I was like, yeah. I was like, I just have a quick question. I was like, just wondering what your situation was. Do you have a girlfriend? And he goes, well, actually, I am seeing somebody right now. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, I was going to ask for your
Watch, you've been
phone
with
number.
her 4 years. I'm just kind of seeing someone right now.
Probably. That's always
bullshit.
the case.
Yeah,
so
if you're
that
just
was
seeing
downplay
someone,
it.
you would have wanted to go on
downplay
a
it.
date, yeah.
So then I was like, oh, I was going to ask for your phone number, but never mind. All good. So then we part ways. Within a half hour, he starts following me on Instagram, which I'm like... Interesting.
Okay.
Why
It's flag me, write me in your notes, keep me there for later.
That's exactly what it is. Put a pin in this.
Yeah,
put a pin in us for later. So then I'm like, okay, I'm curious. So I follow him back just to see what's going to happen. So immediately, and mind you, this is now, I didn't leave set till probably 1 o'clock in the morning. I get home at 2, and I'm wide awake still. We're in comedy, we're up late, and I'm just looking on Instagram, and I follow him back. And then within probably 20 minutes or so, I get a DM from him talking about it's a little bit late for you to be up. And my phone, my phone had
you
died.
upped you.
Yes. I had already, my phone was dying at that point, and I was at home, but I didn't feel like charging it, so I just let it die, and I was like, I'll deal with it in the morning. So then I wake up, and this is when I see the messages in the morning, but I saw what time he sent it, so I just responded, and I was like, actually, no, I'm up all the time. I'm a comic, blah, blah, blah. Then he just asks a few more questions, and we go back and forth to the point where I was just like, he's DMing me a lot. So I just stopped responding throughout the day. And then the next day I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask him what his deal is, because you told me you had a girlfriend. So why are you all up in these DMs? So I responded and said that to him, and he goes, LOL, exclamation point. Is it a crime to get to know somebody a little bit better?
Yes.
My intentions were innocent. And basically trying to make me sound like the crazy person. And I'm like, yo, you have to admit, this is a little suspicious. You tell me of your girlfriend, and then now you're all up in my DMs.
At 2 in the morning.
At 2 in the
If
morning.
it were 2 in the afternoon, you're like, all right, fine, you're just being nice.
But no,
there is no just being nice when he knows that she was interested in him.
Yes, Nick.
Because she knew he was.
But you guys worked together on a show,
we just
one
met.
day. It
One
was
day.
one day.
We
and
just met.
It's not like a
Also,
business relationship.
What were the nature of the questions? Were they too personal? Or was
They
it
weren't
just
too
how long
personal,
you've been
but there should be
interacting?
no
Do not
questions.
pretend like you
No,
do not.
no, 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 no.
Nick, you're being
This is
so full of
not-
shit right now that it's unbelievable.
This is not.
You know exactly.
No,
what it is. This isn't like call the cops.
this is
tell his
bullshit.
girlfriend.
No, it's not.
This is not a black or white issue. There's
It
a
is.
fucking gray area
No,
when it
it's
comes to this stuff.
inappropriate.
Just because you
Is he
are
black or white, by the way?
He's black. This dude is black. But
No,
his,
that-
but his
that's
girlfriend.
not what I meant by black
but
or
his
white.
girlfriend is white. I looked up on his Instagram.
She's gonna be
If he leaves her,
pissed.
he can have both,
What'd you say?
black and white.
If he just cheats a little, he's fine.
He's just dabbling.
But Nick,
I don't,
honestly,
no, I don't think that just because a guy
Yes.
messages you,
Yes. If you have a girlfriend?
She said, "Do you have a girlfriend? And I'm interested in you."
so
He
anyone
knows.
that has a girlfriend can't just
No.
be.
No, you can't just
Not
slide
like
into
that.
someone. This is what my whole Instagram story was about.
The phrase "sliding into DMs" is like a teenager thing. It
But
doesn't.
of
It
course.
doesn't mean like
Nick.
like you're trying to
Nick,
fuck the
so-
second
Yes,
you DM someone. No, it doesn't.
No, he's not trying to fuck the second. He's trying to see if he can fuck while still having a girlfriend, or he's trying to
But how do
establish
you
a
know
relationship
that?
so the minute they break up, he can go to her.
Because he's sliding into my
in other
DMs.
words,
That's what they're for.
No, that's not what they're for.
Yes,
no.
it is.
No, they're for having very platonic friendships with a girl who already said she wants to fuck you.
See, it depends on your outlook and what kind of person you are.
What?
If you're hitting up a ton of girls that you don't know at all, and you're like, "Hey, what's up?
He
We should
doesn't know
hang
me
out."
at all. We just met.
Okay, but what
All
I'm
he
saying,
knows about her is she wants that dick.
Yes.
Okay.
you can express interest in someone, and if they say, "Hey, I'm taken," you can still talk on a platonic level.
Of course you can at some point, but not the same
2
day.
a.m.?
To presume that this guy
you upped her.
To presume that this guy's a scumbag is unfair on your part. You're judging him for all you
Dude,
know.
I'm judging him.
If my boyfriend,
Of course, I'm judging him.
Everyone out here is working in the entertainment industry, and they're always trying to connect and network and this or that.
Of course, but
So
he needs
if
to wait then.
anybody is in a relationship, they can't talk to
we take
anyone of the
calls?
opposite sex.
Please call in.
I need more
think
than
that
just us.
We're not.
I think that
it's
that
the context, Nick. You're not. No, the context is he knew that I was interested in him, right?
Right.
So it's not that. It's not
It's almost
professional at this
mean.
point.
You're
it's not
asking if
professional.
he's single, right? You're asking if he's and he goes, yeah. Any adult can just pivot at that point and go, cool, we can have a friend relationship. at this
Okay,
point.
I have a
Say
story.
that. Then
Like,
open
I
with
have a
that. Then
story.
open with that. Text me and be like,
mean-
hey, is it cool if we are just friends?
Okay.
And I would be like, okay, but don't
I'm
be
at listen.
texting me at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Like this same thing
No, but-
happened with me and a girl like 4 or 5 years ago, right? I had a girlfriend. She knew it. We were friendly. And then she started kind of getting a little flirty.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, I'm still dating this girl. And she kind of was just like, I totally understand that. Sorry, I find you really attractive and blah, blah, this and that. I go, look,
That's wrong.
right. No, it's not wrong.
It is wrong because she's pressing you and she
wasn't
knows
pressing. She was
you're in a relationship.
She was being flirty. And what would have been wrong is if I went, hey, fuck my girlfriend, let's go.
Right.
She did that. She wanted to just get it out, which that's fine. She wasn't inappropriate about it. She didn't invite me over and get naked. She was just testing the waters because look, some dudes and some women are scumbags. They'll cheat, right?
Of course.
So she did that, and I go, look, I like you. I respect you. We get along. We've worked together before. And I don't think that this is a good idea. She was like, you know what? You're right. I kind of got carried away. I'm sorry. That was the end of it. And we have been only friends ever since.
I think that that's a possible thing, but this is a totally different.
So can this
But
be?
listen,
It's like
Nick,
the guy doesn't have to be trying to fuck, and neither does the girl a lot of the times.
but you.
DMs are just like this stereotype.
I don't think that there's a blanket rule for
Stereotypes
everyone
come
in
from
all
truth.
situations at
but they
all.
also
But
don't.
this situation that we're talking about is pretty fucking clear.
Yeah, Nick. Why
Go
are you
ahead.
defending this dude?
Because I'm just
No,
tired.
but your
I'm not
situation
defending
was
this
good.
dude.
But
I'm
your
just saying, if
situation
he
was
wasn't-
good. Your
if he wasn't-
situation,
yeah.
you did the right thing. You
Right.
were
Of
doing the right
course.
thing.
And so did she.
But no, actually, she even had to apologize. Didn't
She
she say
was a
she
little
crossed the
shady.
boundaries? She admitted to that. You just said that because she knew. Saying that after you said you had a girlfriend and she's like, well, I'm still a little attracted to you, that's crossing a boundary.
That's
because
not we're friends.
That's tempting. That's tempting. And if you had been like, let's do this, fuck my girlfriend, and cheated on her, she would have been down for that too. And that's also wrong. So
Not every situation's like that. And what you did, you seemed like completely amazing and you were very clear about your position. But this guy is a situation where he went, oh, fuck, I didn't even know this girl was an option in my life. So what he's doing is he's putting a pin in it and he's going, let's flirt a little or whatever. It's like, flirt with your girlfriend.
Right.
And if things don't work out, remember my name.
exactly. Like
So was
I
he
didn't.
being-
Because I don't think following each other's
Following is not bad. If he had just
Not bad.
followed and not sent me
and
messages,
liked, because that's
one
flirting.
thing.
That's a low-key way to flirt without
Exactly.
really cheating.
Exactly.
What were the nature of his messages? Was he being flirty or was he just like,
Why are you up at this time? That's
mean,
so
I'll read
flirty and
them.
nonsense. Would you ever need to know that information from someone?
And that's the thing. Is
That's like I just want to have engagement with you.
Exactly. And the need for the DM is not necessary. Like, again, you followed me. I followed you back. Let's leave it at that. Now we know we have a way to contact each other in case your situation changes. You know where to find
And
me.
you're just trying to be good. Like you're just trying to do the right thing. But then it shows you that he's shady. So why would I date you now? Now that you're like
Exactly.
right up like in my shit, I wouldn't want you to do that to me.
This was so many messages ago.
But also people are in open relationships and shit. You don't know what's going on.
And it's true,
So what
but-
you're saying is true, Nick.
Yeah.
For sure.
That is true. But I did call him out on it. And again, so he was just like, well, can't we just be friends? And I just think you're a cool person. And I'm like, and that to me, again, it just made me twist my lips really hard. Like I was sitting reading this like, and you know, your gut is right. I'm sorry, your gut is right. And if I got an instinct that this guy is doing some dirt.
It's just the chance of him just having friendly, it's like 1%. It's like 1%.
And what are the, yeah.
Like if he's like, actually, I find you unattractive, but I did
Exactly.
want,
Like, how many people have actually created friendships through Instagram before?
Right. And it's like, and if they'd been friends before, I think it would be okay. You know,
Of
it's
course.
like I don't care. Like, also, my boyfriend could make friends with a girl. I trust him. And if he did something like enjoy that guilt, motherfucker. Enjoy getting hives worrying about the fact you fucked someone behind my back and you're looking into my eyes all the time.
Right.
Like, I hope I never catch you and I hope you have to just sit in it.
I just think everybody's just so ready to jump on both sides, men and women.
Yeah, for
are just
sure.
so ready to jump to
tense
these conclusions that like everyone's trying to do something shady, and sometimes you're just not.
They
Sometimes
are.
you're fucking bored. Sometimes you're like, that'd be a good person to know. If he
Wait.
just hit you up out of the blue, never met you ever,
But then he wouldn't have been
and was
doing
like,
the DMs.
But that
or hit her up in a week and be like, hey, it was fun working with you.
DMs do not equal shady shit.
Not
they don't.
all the time, but a
Not
lot
every
of the time.
conversation.
You know what
DM
DM stands for? You know what DM stands for?
Direct-
Do me.
Right.
It stands for dick message. Wait, okay, I found the conversation. It's not very long. So after we do this, we'll say that with your struggle, and then we'll go into Nick's struggle, the reason why we're here. So, okay, so
We don't need to
after
do
I
I get
accepted,
sidetracked very easily.
I feel like my struggle's mixed with this, so it's fun.
after I accepted his, or not accepted, but followed him back, it's like going on 3 o'clock in the morning at this point. Isn't it past your bedtime?
I mean,
So then,
what are you wearing?
So
Pretty
then-
much that's the what are you wearing for a guy in a relationship.
That would
Exactly.
be crossing the line for sure.
exactly. So my phone now is died. I'm like going to bed or whatever.
Your phone was
I
like
wake up-
cheater and died.
Right, and was like, boop, 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 boop. And so I write back, sorry, phone died. And nope, I'm a comic. Nighttime is when I work. And he writes back, ha ha. Like, that wasn't funny.
Right.
He wrote, ha ha, exclamation point. The night owl howling in the night.
I just want to have a moment. You know
don't
what my
even know
struggle is now?
what that is.
Your terrible taste is my
Corniness.
struggle. Yeah, was this
if he
Mal?
had said- If he had said anything remotely close to this while we were working together, I would never have hit on him.
Yeah.
And then he goes, how did your set go last night? And I'm like, my set? Like, I left set at 1 o'clock in the morning. Where do you think I performed? So
I guess he thought you went to go do a set somewhere. That's why you were home at 3.
But also, you don't.
He clearly has never been.
He
to
doesn't
I hate when they're like,
understand.
good luck. And they never know, the guys that aren't comedians. They always like, how was it? I'm like, I do it every night. So
yeah,
it's the
stop
same as
it.
every
The
night.
same
Leave me
as
alone.
your job. I
How
don't
was
ask
your
you how
bit or
right.
whatever
Yeah.
they call it?
How was your skit?
Your skit
Your
is what they
skit,
call
your
it.
bit, yeah.
Your skit. So then I just explained, I was like, I had spots that I had to cancel because of the shoot, so I wasn't able to do that. Blah, blah, blah. Then he writes back, yeah, no way. Plus your we had an inside joke on set. Plus your standing heart rate wouldn't have been able to sustain the proper stamina.
I'm
Blah, blah,
so
blah.
glad because if he said that without there being an inside joke,
Yeah,
I'd be
no,
like,
there was an
Nick,
inside- there was an
please,
inside
she's
joke.
talking about her heartbeats, okay?
And then I wrote back, exactly, you get it. That's it. And then he writes back, I know a little something, ... And then that was it. I don't respond to after that. Then he writes back, busy day. See? Busy.
Yo, he's trying to fuck now, dude.
He
He's not
is.
trying to save it. He's trying to fuck now.
Busy day. And I'm like, I respond the next day because I was like, he's DMing too much. I wrote back, I was busy. You up all in these DMs. You all up in these DMs for someone who has a girlfriend, just an observation. He writes back, LOL, exclamation point. At the end of the day, I think you're mad cool. I didn't realize getting to know somebody was a crime. And I said, not a crime, but a little suspicious, you must admit. That's all. As long as your intentions are pure, it's all good. Just looking out for my fellow ladies, we don't do that enough. And he wrote back, agreed. Nah, my intentions are pure and not selfish/evil. And I think that's dope looking out for your fellow ladies. And I didn't respond to that after that.
And then you just did a bunch of fucking
I did a bunch
Instagram
of Instagram
stories.
That I don't. If he
about it.
watched, I don't know. We'll see. I have no
love-
idea.
yeah, no, that's
he's still
good.
following me, so I don't. He
Oh,
probably
this
didn't-
motherfucker's
You
gonna
can
follow
see
you
if
till
he
he
watched
dies.
them.
Yeah. Wait. Oh yeah, I know. I just didn't care to.
Oh my
look.
God, have you ever been with someone when they realize that you can do that?
They freak out.
They go like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah, I saw you watching all my stuff. So it's like the funniest thing to
How
do.
do they not know that? Because
people
they've
just
never
don't.
posted. Maybe they've never posted.
Yeah, they don't
stories
use
themselves.
Or nobody
Yeah.
watches their thing,
Yeah.
so they've never seen a name under there.
We're evil. All right. Let's get to. We have wasted enough time. Nick, what is your struggle? Do tell.
My struggle is dealing with 2 women at the same time during a podcast. It's got a little crazy for a minute there. But I think I've conquered it, so this podcast is over. We're done. Good night, everybody. Bye.
He passed.
Good night.
Is this really a lot for you?
No.
I was like, so I don't care.
Yeah, the more tumultuous, the more comfortable I get. Actually,
He's like, the more hard my dick
yeah,
gets.
I've never dated still waters, so I don't even know what that's like. That would make me like,
I've only met one of your girlfriends, and I can agree.
oh yeah. Yeah. My struggle. See, I had a hard time because I'm like, we're only doing like an hour, so I'm like, how do I do this with and give it like make it, I guess, broad enough or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was gonna pick depression.
Oh.
And then I was like, why don't we just say I've always struggled with happiness?
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Because that's like, and I assume someone's talked about depression on the podcast
No.
before. Oh, okay.
No. Surprise! You would think.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, I'll talk about just depression. But then that, like, the line of questioning is just going to be depression specific, but it inhibits your ability to be happy more than just other stuff, like across the board. You
Right.
know? And I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, I've never been able to think of a period of time in my life kind of uninterrupted in the way I've seen other people have, where I've just been able to say, I feel happy.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think you have possibly guilt for being happy or something? Or do you think maybe
Well,
being the
that's
son of immigrants or something and your
That's
parents had to struggle a
associated
bunch?
with it. Like every time I feel like I've learned this from doing my podcast, that is a part of it. That I feel like there's so much, and my therapist told me that. And yeah, she was like, have you ever thought that you are hard on yourself because of all the expectations that you have put upon yourself because of what your parents have gone through to get to America
Yeah.
and like, you know, all the work they've done and what you've chosen to
Like,
do with
kind
your
of feel
life
like
and-
you've let them down a little bit.
I mean, not necessarily. Or early on, I felt that because they just completely disagreed with my choices
Career
in
choice,
life.
yeah.
So, but then they came around and accepted it once it started like, you know, working out and stuff. And they were like, oh, people like actually respect people in the entertainment industry. You're making money.
Isn't that
You're
amazing? Like the minute you get a
Yeah.
TV credit, they're like, oh, all that stuff that annoyed us at Thanksgiving is our favorite thing.
Yeah, no,
It's
yeah.
amazing how people don't understand it's like unless you're on TV, they don't think you're working.
Yeah.
It's like they don't understand that.
Where'd you go? Do you still do this? Like,
Yeah.
every day. Every day.
Yeah, in their heads,
no
it's
res-
like,
yeah.
you know, so-and-so started doing this and then they got a TV show. So that's what it means
That's
to
You're
be
like, why aren't you
supposed to-
Kevin James?
Yeah, right. Or
yeah.
Kevin Hart, or every Kevin that's.
right.
These
In the
Kevins,
industry.
man, honestly. Spacey, he started out as a comic.
I feel like that. I mean,
jerked
that
off
was a
in front of
part of it, but like, so there is definitely like situational, like struggles with like happiness and anxiety and depression. But I think as I've gotten older, I think it's just a chemical thing. I think it's just always kind of been there. There's just something off in my brain, and for a long time, I denied that. I was like, no, I can just power through this. I can like overcome it
Yeah.
by force of like will. I can just get through. And I just have not been able to. Like there'll be periods of time where you have
Where
like
it'll
highs
sustain.
and lows and like, and then for years I used to like drink, and that used to be like a way to take the edge off
course,
and like you go out and have
self-medicating,
fun.
right.
Did you like to black out?
I never blacked out.
Oh, that was my jam.
Yeah.
I was like, peace, bitch.
She's like, I'm
You
doing
suck.
Doing it weekly.
I
I'm just
blacked
gonna
out
black
once, but I'm almost confident I was drugged.
Oh,
What? You think somebody
fun.
roofied you?
Yeah.
That's a struggle.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
wait.
was in San Francisco at the Beta Breakers Festival,
Okay.
which is like a all day long, like kind of like costumed marathon through the city of San Francisco.
Okay.
Did you wake up with a sore butt?
No, thank God.
You got to check the asshole immediately.
I was with a group of people. It was the first thing I checked for. So the group of
It was a
people,
loose
Their
booty.
blood.
and I was able to drink. Like I had a high tolerance. I was like, you know, I knew my way around alcohol and having a good time and stuff. And this festival started in the morning at like 8 or 9. And I remember having 2 beers, which is
Yeah, that's not enough.
nothing for
It's
me.
not enough.
Nothing.
And then
And then the next thing I remember was like opening my eyes, like I was in an apartment of a friend's friend where we were all kind
Were
of
you
like,
face down, ass up?
No, but you know what's funny is at one point I was face down because I was falling down a flight of stairs.
Oh, that is fucked
Yeah.
up.
And I was like trying to hold on to the rail,
To
and I'm
take
like,
someone's like ability to protect
yeah,
themselves
and I was just
from
that's
them.
No.
but that's when I came to, and I was just like, wait, where?
happening?
And
Right.
then I blacked out again and opened my eyes, and I was making out with a girl on a kitchen floor.
Wow.
Didn't know her.
you were in a friend's place, right?
Do you think
Yeah,
she
yeah,
did
right,
it?
yeah.
Do you think she's the one that
She
did it?
did not do it.
I don't think. Oh, woman does that.
Yeah, I don't think women.
There has to be one that's done. There's just no way. I can't imagine.
But think about.
But then it's like, does their dick work? Like, how do you even deal with
That's
it?
you can't. Roofies don't.
I mean, I guess I was aware enough to get to however I got to this house, and then to make out with this girl. Like, I was like a working person, but like I was up
That's
here.
so scary.
That was probably
I'm really
accidental.
glad that you didn't get raped, man. I had a friend that just told me a story.
Because I was in like the streets with like thousands of people. I could have easily just been led off, like, "Hey man, this way, let's go." You know, and I could have been robbed. I could have been killed.
Anything.
Anything in a city I don't live in. It was like
that's a nightmare.
And then I woke up hours later. It was like 3-4 p.m. So literally a whole working day
had gone by.
And I woke up in my friend's
butthole?
There, I was fucking him in the ass, and I was like, I'm not into this.
You find out you're a top, they drugged you, and you're like, how did I become a top?
What if that's how you find out that you are into that?
Yeah.
Like, wait a second.
It's like happy accident.
Yeah.
Wow, I gotta
like,
find this
holy
rapist.
shit.
I owe them a lot.
I've woken up in more than one way today. And I like look up at the ceiling. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, where? And I walk out of the hallway, and everyone's just kind of chilling now, and they're watching TV. And
But nobody was concerned for you?
No, they were, but they put me to bed, and they were like, he'll sleep it off. They're like, what's going on with him? And my friends are like, we've never seen him like this at all.
They're like, we usually are the ones doing this. Like, what the fuck? Nick's our friend that
he's
does
helping us into bed. And so, yeah, I mean, that was fucking weird. But I told myself, I was like,
this can't happen again.
Do you start like blacking out of nowhere when you're drinking?
Sometimes that does happen, but I wouldn't happen with 2 beers like that.
Yeah, and I was like, that is, because I was not,
It's not enough.
And then I told myself, I was like, all right, if this ever happens again, I will literally quit drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
And it never did. And then I quit later for other reasons. But it was one of the scariest feelings, 'cause I don't like to be out of control like that.
It's fucked up.
And I mean, it was really, really crazy.
That's so scary. That's so scary. I wonder how many guys get raped like that. Because I mean, my friend just like popped that out to me, and I was like,
and
he's like, I've never told anyone that. I'm like, fuck, we have to be like, we should know.
I bet with dudes, it's like emasculating.
It's so embarrassing.
That's
he was like, don't tell anyone. His name is.
Of course not. When dudes,
Kevin Hart.
You can find him at Chappelle had a joke about it. He was like, if men were the ones getting raped, we would never find out about it, because no dudes would ever want
they
to
are
admit
getting
to that.
and the little boys that get molested, shit like that. It's like,
but they don't tell, and that it always it's ridiculous, because we always get questioned as women as like, well, how come you waited so long? I'm like, really? You get raped and see when you talk about it.
Yeah,
and
it's gonna be death
and put on the right clothing and do your hair and like get to the fucking.
I know.
police
I'm like,
station. It's like,
listen, I've got to call TMZ. Tell them I'm gonna be there.
I have to Instagram story
I
this.
get my nails
it's so
done.
much.
I mean, I can't just go to the police.
I have to DM this really nice guy that wants to be friends with me back.
I got to get in like 9-hour conversation with someone.
So wait, do you think is anybody in your family struggling with depression? Do you think it's just you?
Undiagnosed. I would say I have a family member that does, but you gotta know something about like Middle Eastern immigrants is like they don't believe in that sort of like, oh, you suffer from depression.
Like,
they don't believe in that.
No, literally
in Europe either. It's not a mental illness. If you feel bad,
if you feel even physically sick, you just like
keep it going.
You work your way through it. Literally, my dad growing up would be like, "No, sitting in bed is just going to make me feel worse. I'm just going to like work it out of my system with hard labor." And
I'm
like,
not Middle Eastern. I don't need to do a
and that's
DNA
where I
test
got
now.
like
Certainly
that's
not.
where I got my like workaholicism, I guess, whatever. But
work ethic.
Yeah, but I can't sit
work ethic.
still.
Yeah.
I
can't do anything.
She woman-splained to you.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, I can't do
You have to keep yourself occupied all the time.
Yeah, I feel guilty if I'm like not.
Okay, I think that I have that too a little bit, and I'm also like a way underachiever, so I'm just not doing the work and then suffering.
Yeah.
I also was gonna think about depression. I think it's the reason a lot of comics are depressed is because I look at it like, yo, I'm not bullshit. Like, I'm looking at what's actually happening, and that's why I think I'm smart, that I'm always like a little depressed. That's like my proof that I'm smart. Dumb people are happy.
Oh,
the
of
stupids
course.
That are like,
ignorance. Ignorance is
ding.
bliss. Like that term didn't just come from nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, I was like that before I was like, preteen teenager even. I just like always felt this sense of like gloom and doom,
Yeah.
I was like,
it sucks.
It was just, I never had a lot of friends. I was never good with girls. I was always just like alone and just kind of like, yeah.
So when did you become more confident?
The ladies, man, we see today.
Yes. When did you evolve into
when
this?
I started doing stand up when I was 18. And then I just found something that made me happy and something I wanted to wake up and go pursue and do.
That's a good point too, because I think that happens. That's another reason comics are depressed, because this is a thing you're meant to do, and you know it right away. And it's like, I think for all of us, the only thing, right?
Well, I've got a few other business ventures that I've got going over in Abu Dhabi that have gotten me millions of dollars, but I do this as a hobby.
No, but the thing that because I can draw and I thought I was going to be an artist, but it didn't wake me up in the morning. Like it wasn't like stand-up was the only thing that I was like, I'll do this like every day of my life.
Right.
And I think that's like
Yeah, that helped, for sure, but it wasn't this like fix. It wasn't this cure where I was like, oh, it was situational depression. I'm great now. And I was better for years because I had something to focus on, and it kind of quiets all the other voices down. But then there are times that no matter how happy the circumstances are in your life, you could have just booked a pilot that got picked up to series. You could have sold a screenplay or you wrote a book and it got published. All these different things. And you should be happy.
Right.
But your mind just won't let you. It will find the negative. It'll find the hopelessness. It'll find a reason to say like,
that's not enough.
What's the point in anything anyway? You know, and then you just don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to go to the gym. You don't want to hang out with your girlfriend. You don't want to have sex even. Like it affects your sex drive. It affects
No, that means you're gay.
It affects your ability to like eat sometimes.
That's the best kind. We're like, skinny.
That is.
That's the only one with
the worst is when you want to eat more.
Oh God, I get into those. I'm like, are you kidding me, bitch? Really?
I literally will try and knock that depression out of my head. I'm like,
I'm dying, and I'm like eating food that's just
the
making
other
me
kind.
diarrhea.
The skinny kind.
Like the starving depression, the heartbreak depression, where you're like, I haven't eaten in 6 days. I look amazing.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, she's gonna want me back.
Yeah. So there's always been an element of that, and in the last year and a half, it's been really bad. I remember in my late teens, early 20s, I was like, and then in my teenage years in high school, I used to like entertain the thoughts of suicide.
Really?
But not like
in your early 20s, you said?
Yeah, a little bit in my early 20s, and then it kind of went away until right before I quit drinking. I was like, I'm not happy, and I'm not happy in a really dark way that I haven't been since my early 20s. And I thought, I was like, I'm going to quit drinking for a while, and then I just never looked back. But
Also, it's like get a Netflix special before you kill yourself.
Right,
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
know,
leave something.
Yeah.
Have some goals, Nick.
And
Nick, come on.
Jesus.
Handle your depression that you have no control over.
And yeah, I just I thought to myself in the last like year and a half, and this is where the struggle becomes current for this episode, is that I've always resisted the idea of therapy and medication.
Why?
Because I didn't like the idea that, like, anytime I hear anyone talk about therapy and the things they go through, it always sounds like, well, yeah, I already know that. Or, yeah, I'm not going to pay someone to tell me things I already know. Like, I need something to change my mind, my chemistry, change the way I think. Because someone talking to me is not going to do that. I already know that. But I'm like, you know what? I've tried everything else. And all I can think about lately is like, what would it be like if I died? What would I do with my dog? What would my family think?
Is it because you watched 13 Reasons Why?
Yeah. And my TV wouldn't turn off and it just kept playing over and over again. I'm like, I either got to move or kill myself. And apartments are expensive in LA. So I'm going to die in this one.
Well, we have a surprise for you, Nick. You don't have to kill yourself. We've actually hired someone that's going to murder you.
Yes.
James. He comes in.
We know it's not Mal. So, too corny to kill.
Yeah. His gun would just have a bang sign.
It's a banana. You're like, get out of here.
Waka, waka, waka.
Yeah. So when you start getting lost in those fantasies, you're like, I should be fantasizing about positive things, like
Yes.
what my career is going to be like in a few years, and the house I'm going to buy, and blah, 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 all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, man, I've done everything I can. I've worked as much as I could, even during the times where things have like gone well in my career and I've like made some money and gotten this and gotten that. It's still, I'm just like, I could get a Netflix special next year. It's not going to I know it's not going to make me happy.
Yeah.
It will give me
it shouldn't,
fleeting.
by the way.
I know,
It shouldn't.
Right.
Like, that's not realistic. It's like when people are like, woo, like these things are like, especially like we know in comedy, because you do get the things. You do get, you achieve your goals and then you go,
then you have more
it's so
goals.
depressing. You're like,
and then,
fuck, this didn't fill the void.
Right.
Yeah, I remember when I recorded my first album, and I put a lot of work into it, and then like I put it out, and it did great. And for some reason, I felt really bummed out afterwards. I felt like just this sense of like loss and depression. I remember talking to Ari Shafir about it, and he goes, so your album's been out for like a few weeks now. How's it doing? I'm like, actually really good. He's like, are you depressed? I'm like, how did you know? He's like, I went through the same thing. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I just like, it was my first one. I put all this work into it, and it was all this material that was like either, you know, a year old or maybe up to 4 or 5 years old. It was just this combination of like all your best stuff. And it was the first time you put something like that out there, and then you just had to let it go.
I wonder if it's like
And he just
postpartum
felt
depression.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was like creative postpartum depression.
Wow.
And I was like, oh yeah, okay. So that's gonna be not only a normal thing for people, but it's gonna happen on one level or another.
Did you find yourself
forever.
in the bathtub just drowning your CD?
Yeah.
Why did you do this to me?
Yeah. Well, what I did was I put it in my car and then put a brick on the
Oh, that's
gas
my jam.
pedal.
I've been
just
doing
let
a
it
joke
go
about
over a
that.
cliff.
Drove it,
I've been
and,
doing a joke about that where I'm like, what if
And
I was
then
one of those
blamed
parents
it
that
on a
forgot
black
my
man?
kid was in a car with it seatbelted in with a fucking cinder block on the...
Yeah.
Did you blame it on a black person?
And of course, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the best way to get away with the car.
It's this black man that had a grudge with my specific children.
I did not blame it on black man. I blamed it on black men, multiple. Four of them.
I
The
blamed
whole
it on
gang.
Obama specifically.
Actually, I blame it on black women.
Yeah.
They're at fault for everything.
So I decided to start using depression medication. So I went to a psychiatrist and I was like, look, my whole life it's been this way. Here's what I feel. It's been really bad lately. This is my first time taking these. Let's try it. So he put me on one, and I remember taking it home. And I've also been sober for 6 years, so I haven't put any substance in my body that will alter my mind that's stronger than coffee.
Just for the people at home, he did pantomime putting a pill up his asshole, if you were wondering.
Yeah, for some reason he gave me like depression meds that you have to take anally. which was
Rectally,
weird.
yeah. And he gave them to me after
you sure
we were
about
at this
this?
one music festival.
And do I have to tape it to a dildo? When I put it up? Whatever.
That
You're the doctor.
A double-headed one that you're
Wait,
also penetrating.
you have to do it?
You need to do
Shit.
it. You need me to
All right.
Skype in every time I have to do this so you can watch.
I want you to be molested so bad that
Also,
I
why are
can't.
your offices in the Pornhub studios? That's really. Anyway, I should stop asking questions. I'm not in my right mind, clearly. So, so anyway, that guy and I have been dating for a few months. Great guy. No more depression. So I started taking the meds and I'm sorry, I got the prescription and I took it home and I put it on the coffee table and I stared at it for 1 hour.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this
Contemplating
is,
it?
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to finally do this. For like 20 years, I've been like thinking like, maybe I should, no. I'm too good for that. I'm stronger than that. I'm better than that. I can will my way out of it. I can work hard enough. I can do this, do that, do this. And then I sat there and stared at that fucking thing for an hour. And I was like, you know what, man? I've tried everything else. And you know, what's the harm in just trying this? I don't have to do it forever.
Right.
And if it doesn't work, if I don't like it, I can just
taking it.
stop doing it. And then I just popped the pill and then, you know, and now I'm like starting my fucking journey of depression medication.
When did you start?
And I would say 3 months ago.
Do you think it helps you like actually get to the issues like when you're in therapy and stuff?
I think so. It helped me see things like a little, what it's done so far, we're still like playing with the dosage of the one I'm taking. So you have to kind of like, some people like are fine with the first dosage and some people need to up it to a few, or that medicine won't work. You got to switch to another one.
Right.
This one so far is taking, but he's still playing around with the dosage because he thinks it can work a little better. He's saying the fact that it's working some is good, but let's
see if
keep,
it can get better.
altering it. And I'm like, well, you know, whatever, you're the doctor. But I think so far
Now
what
bend
it's
over.
done, grab me that Vaseline, and here we go, baby.
Oh my God, they use Vaseline? Oh my, doctor's an asshole.
You're so
Yeah.
nice.
And yeah, he's very sweet. He's very caring. And
That's callback. I'm sorry. It's so stupid.
so, wait, what was I saying?
You were saying what you think it's
he's
done.
playing with
Oh
the
yeah,
dosage.
yeah. So far, like it definitely has not been like I'm cured, you know, and then
Yeah,
I'm
of
like
course.
running through fields picking flowers.
But that's good. That would be fucking frightening.
Yeah,
wouldn't
that
it?
kind of would be. Yeah. Yeah.
What's
Really.
I'd be
would.
like, I'm definitely killing myself. I'm
yeah.
definitely gonna kill myself.
Yeah. So what it's done, I think, is it's cut the lows off by maybe 25%, I guess, where I don't feel this sense of like just complete, dread or hopelessness where I'm just like, who fucking cares? Like I will start having those thoughts, but then they'll just be snipped off a little sooner than,
Do you feel it
when
like
I wake up one day and go, oh fuck, I've been at home for 3 hours not doing.
Wait, is that bad?
Right. Yeah.
I'm like 3 hours. That's a good day for me.
I know.
Yeah.
If I get a tweet out that does all right, I'm fine. My day is done.
For like a month.
Yeah, I'm like, my month is done.
Yeah, I just like, I'm hoping that either this medication or if they switch me to another one will just give me, they say that you will get the feeling that you want to participate in your life again. That was the phrase
That's the
he used.
definition
And I was like,
or
okay, yeah,
description, yeah.
He's like, it won't be this magic elixir. It won't make you feel like you're on drugs. You will feel normal. You'll still be sad and happy, but in
Right.
normal ways.
Well, that sounds perfect.
Yeah.
How has it affected your comedy?
That's what
Yes.
I was just about
you know
to ask.
What's
Yeah.
interesting is that on stage I feel like more present, and I'm like pretty present on stage.
You are. You're
Your
very
sets have been fucking really good recently.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
I've always thought you've been really funny. Like your crowd work is always on point. Like you're very quick and
Yeah.
witty. So like
But
you're
your
even
crowd,
more present.
yeah, like your shit's been like,
Yeah.
pop, pop, pop.
Yeah, I
That's
feel like I'm more present in a way that I wasn't before, and I'm like, and I can't quite figure out how, but I feel better on stage lately, which is
Like more-
nice.
Do you think you aren't judging the audience as much or something?
No, because I don't really do that with the crowds.
Oh, I'm like, you fucking assholes.
When
I
I
get up
started-
like, fuck you.
When I started working the road a lot, I stopped doing that because I used to always prejudge before I got to any
Yeah, you
city,
can't.
and then you're just so wrong.
and I've been so wrong.
Like, you guys are great.
So I was like, oh, you know what? People are kind of the same everywhere. So
Yeah.
whatever. Unless they prove me wrong while I'm on stage. And I'm like,
Right.
these guys are, the dumbest or
when
the
they
most
really
racist
disappoint you at the end when you're like,
Right,
oh.
right,
right.
So yeah, but I feel a little bit better in that sense, but there's still like, work to be done in terms of like which medication or how much and for how long. I don't know how long I'm going to be using it for, but the psychiatrist was like, these aren't forever drugs. You take them until your brain builds neural pathways and then you're able to kind of.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, which was a thing I didn't even consider. I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, this won't be for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
And that
no.
eased a lot of
Yeah.
That's great.
the concerns. So,
Has it affected anything else? Like as far as
my
like
sex
your
drive is
so-
better.
Really?
Yeah.
Because some of them will make you no boners, right?
Well, another thing
Oh,
too is that didn't occur to me either, but you just go in there and you tell the psychiatrist like, hey, here are the things I definitely don't want. So avoid giving me medicines where those are the common side effects. So I was like, I do not want to be lethargic all day. I don't want like
Acne.
weight gain or loss.
Yeah.
And I don't want sex drive issues.
Right.
Because I'm already having those.
I always go in and I go, I want sex drive issues.
Yeah. I'm like, unless you can like up it through
Too
the
horny.
roof where I'm just like shooting like a fire hose all day.
Just knocking bitches down.
Yeah,
Everyone's
yeah,
Spider-Man
exactly.
against the wall.
I need
That's
like
a bit
like,
triggering for me as a black person.
Goggles like Cyclops has to prevent the red laser from shooting out of his eye all day. I need that for my dick.
No references to fire hoses, please.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'll probably take that back.
I'm so sorry.
That's a
wait.
whole nother struggle.
So that's okay, but it's funny because I guess nobody would want to have sex drive issues or any type of pill that affects that or
Oh,
makes
yeah.
it lower, right? So it's like
But if you're so fucked up, maybe if you're that
Yeah.
dark that you're like,
For
I
some
need to
people-
get
Some people,
the
they
like
have
the
to
one
take-
that's gonna like be like, boom, I'm back.
like I have no choice. I have to take this one.
For
even
some
though,
people, they're so miserable that their sex drive's already zero anyway. So like, if that's the med that will work for you,
Yeah.
then you just do it for a while, and then you become happy enough to get off the meds, and then your sex drive's back anyway. So it's just there's always gonna be a give and take, I guess. But the one he put me on, he's like, he said it was weight neutral and no issues with sex drive. So he said in a few weeks or a month, you'll notice that will start coming back, and you'll be tired for the first few days, maybe as your body adjusts, and you might feel like a little bit of like maybe upset stomach or what feels like nausea when you first take it, and then after whatever an hour, It'll be gone. Then after a week of the meds, it'll be gone. And he was right. And we'll see. I got to go back next week to see what he thinks about the dosage I'm on, and then go from there. I'm trying to have an open mind, trying to be like positive about it because I don't know what else to do. So far it's fine. I'm not out of the woods, and there's still time, but like I'm just tired of. There's a phrase I've heard people use. I'm sick and tired of feeling sick and tired.
Yeah.
So I don't know who said that first, but I've heard it a few times. But yeah.
Have you thought about documenting this, like doing filming it?
Oh my God, we're such whores. Aren't
No,
we?
I'm
Just
not.
like every part of our lives. Have it. Take it. I belong to
No,
you.
but I
And
think
scene
it's
will be when I kill myself.
I'm just thinking about and I even think about Neil Brennan's his three mics. And it was like I don't think people even think about the way that depression and comedy go together. Like the fact that you said, has anybody come on this show before? And you was like, obviously,
I just assumed every other episode was that.
Of course, because it's something that most of us do deal with. So it's like, but I don't think people usually necessarily assimilate the two together. So I'm like, people, I think that's an interesting story. Like I would watch it, and it would be healthy and like therapeutic for a lot of people to see that. I think.
Yeah, if there was an angle beyond, just like, hey, I chemically am fucked in the head.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I think I'd have to sit with it for a while and
see what
I was on
how it works for you.
I was on a plane with next to this guy he was born in Africa and he moved to France and got educated there, and then he got a scholarship, and then and by the way, he's told me none of this yet. Okay, I had just bombed a weekend, so I'm literally like weeping on a plane, like what am I doing with my life?
But you bombed the whole entire weekend?
The whole weekend. This was years ago. It was in Jersey. It was at a casino.
The casinos are the worst.
It was just so rough. It was like I was like, this is actually one. I ate a bunch of edibles and then the opener was bombing. Thank God. This hack was like killing the whole time, and he kept trying to give me notes. And I'm like, motherfucker, the reason I'm bombing is the reason you're killing. Okay, these people are garbage. But so then he was bombing. So then he was running the light. Because he was bombing. So I had taken these edibles thinking that he was going to just get the fuck off the stage, but he was bombing so hard and I was really enjoying it. And then my edibles kicked in and I was the highest I've ever been. And then I had a good set. But it was
hilarious.
But anyway, so I'm telling this guy like my sob story. And then I go, what do you do? And he's like, I'm in Doctors Without Borders. I was born in Africa. And I was given a scholarship to study in France, and now I help AIDS babies. And it was the funniest thing. And he went, you know what you might need to do?
You're like, oh, okay.
He goes, you know what you might need to do? He goes, you might need to just focus on things outside of yourself.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you, Sam. And then he told me not to eat sugar too. So I was okay.
Funny. Those are two things too that I like doing something, engaging in things that just kind of make you feel fulfilled and don't remind you of,
Yeah, it's like we're just in our heads thinking about things. And even when you were saying, you're like, usually your goals could help you, but goals are still future. That ain't shit.
Sometimes
we're never
sometimes they're the source of, so put the work down for a little bit, even though it feels counterproductive, it'll actually make you feel more productive when you come back to it. And then the therapist was like, get a dog. I told her I wanted a dog for a while, and she's like, I would recommend doing it.
Yeah. Thomas
like,
Dale just did that too, and he's like all happy and great.
That's the cutest puppy I've ever seen.
But yeah, stuff like that, you grow up feeling like that's weak. That's not what men do. That's not what, but after a while, you're like, it's like you liken it to feeling, if you're sick, you don't go work through it. That will literally make you feel worse. You got to take medicine and rest, and then you'll feel better. It's just it's the same thing, just in your brain.
Of course.
Yeah, there is something where you're
your throat and lungs and wherever else.
You want to do it grassroots. You're like, I just want to do this by myself. I don't want to have to. But you
and
can't.
I can confidently say that I already have tried all that. So there's not going to be a part of me that's like, well, maybe I'm not man enough. It's like, no, I tried every other imaginable way.
Maybe I'm trans because I have these problems too.
Yeah.
But
I haven't tried that.
Enough.
Maybe I'll get a sex change just for the fuck of it.
Be one of
us. For the fuck of it.
It's fun being a girl.
If these pills don't work, then try that.
It is fun being a girl. You should try it. But I had a friend who's a comic who he was trying to give me his pitch on what to take with pills.
Yeah.
Why to take the pills, and he goes, he's like, I still get mad when someone gets something, but I'm not it doesn't ruin my day. And I was like, you just get mad when your friends get, or I guess he didn't say friends, but I'll screen grab it and have a little laugh with someone, but it's It was so funny. I was like, you bitter piece of shit.
I know,
You're just a jealous
I know
dick.
so
You're
many
not,
people
like,
that are like
such
that
an
though.
asshole.
Even if it's like a dude and they get mad when a woman gets something,
Or
I'm like, you know
something,
that was
anything.
not for you at all.
But
Like,
if you don't get a part, it wasn't for you.
it wasn't for you at all. But then it's even
Motherfucker.
funnier for me when dudes get mad at what women booked. I'm like,
I
that wasn't
know.
for you. So anyway.
Oh wow, that's hilarious.
It's hilarious. I have one thing you haven't tried, and I mentioned this last time: meditation. Okay,
I've done that.
it's my thing. Do it. Just
Yeah.
try and do it every morning.
It's hard to remember to do.
No,
it.
I know. Set your timer, but it doesn't.
I remember.
I've taken classes for it.
Yeah.
I've done it on
Did you
my
do
own. I have
TM?
an app. No, but I want to.
I mean, it's you don't have to.
Yeah, I want
I'll
to.
tell you to do it.
And I'm well, there was another thing I can't remember, but
Anal.
yes.
No, he did that.
Yeah.
Remember? He wasn't awake for it.
A good
I just thought we
ass-eating
should. I thought we
session
should
does make you feel
I
better.
thought we should bring it
It
back
really
one more
does.
time
You need your
before.
ass. You need the
It's
medicine eaten
it's
out of your ass.
meditative.
I had to
Yeah.
call it back one more time before.
Unless
we
the girl
get out of
doesn't
here.
like it, and then you're like, fine.
It is your
Boring.
maybe get a bidet. Honestly, they have bidets for $39.99.
Oh yeah, they got
Changed
ones
my
you
life.
can just install.
Changed my life.
But oh yeah, I
No
wanna
one's
get-
not eating your ass
I
with a
wanna
bidet. You have no excuse.
Yeah,
I still have an excuse. It's disgusting.
they should call all bidets
I don't really
ass
like
eater
it, but I'll do
Still
it.
5000.
butt cheeks.
That should be the
There's still
official
shit
name
in
for
there.
bidets.
It's just their balls too. It's just like such a it's like an incubator.
You guys, I did not want to end with this. All right,
Well,
I did
too
not
late.
want to. God damn it, you guys. All right, I'm sorry. That's it. We have to end. We have to wrap this up. So thank you, Nick, for coming.
Thanks for having
And,
me.
Thanks, Nick. I'm
joining
happy
us.
you're doing well.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad to hear, and I would like to have you back on so we can talk about this after you've been on for like some months and see if there's
Like,
if you haven't killed
before and
yourself.
after. Yeah, if I'm
Right.
still alive.
Candice
If
will
he-
be dating the DM guy.
If he has
Right,
killed
that's
himself,
right.
we'll just have him back on like Bernie,
Oh yeah.
and we'll just prop you up.
Okay.
Someone's gonna get mad at me for that
fine with
suicide or joke. So anyway, all right, Nick, where can everybody find you? And if you have any shows or anything that you want to plug,
I will. When does this come out?
this will drop next Tuesday. So whatever date that is.
I'm
The
not on
29th.
road for a few. Well, I'm headlining the San Francisco Punchline first weekend of July.
There we go.
Fun. That club's
And
the
then-
shit.
Oh, I love it. I recorded my second album there.
Nice.
And, which is available on iTunes and Spotify and Apple Music. Both my albums are. So you can find my comedy there. And then I'll be in New York for most of August doing shows all over town. I'll post all those on my website, nickyoussef.com. And then I'll be back on the road with Nick Swartzen
Nice.
later in the summer. And that's all I can think of right now.
And your
But that's
social media
enough.
one
And my
more time.
social media, NickYoussef. I primarily use Instagram, so you can hit me up there or email me on my website.
Boom.
Or DM him late night and
Or,
say,
yeah.
"Are you up?" And then
Be
I'm
like,
like,
"Hey,
"This is
what's
so
going
normal.
on?
This
Slide
isn't
into
even
the
weird.
DM.
It's not even shady
just
at all."
checking on your mental health at 4 a.m.
Yeah, just why are you up? What are you wearing?
purely
What are you
innocent.
doing?
Yeah.
And Annie, where can everyone find you?
Let's do Instagram. ANNIELEDERMAN. Do it.
Perfect. You guys, thanks again for listening to The Struggle. If you have been listening to this and you have not subscribed, what the fuck are you doing? Tell your friends about it. Share, share, share. Thank you so much for listening. I've been Candice Thompson. You can find me at Jokes by Candice on social media, CandiceThompsonComedy.com. Till next time, bye.